Hey y'all, it's been a busy day today. I'm going to use that broth that I made the other day. If you're on Facebook, you'll know I made some bone broth, some chicken broth. And I'm going to use it today to make a creamy chicken noodle soup. So let's get to cooking. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut an onion. And I'm just going to chop it up in small pieces. Many of you know Sweet Hunter doesn't like onions, but he eats them all the time. He just doesn't know it. I am not an expert chopper, so I don't claim to be. They're going to cook down anyway. So I'm going to continue chopping this one onion. I got about 8 more to chop up, but I'm not gonna do it until I get this soup made, and then I'm gonna chop them up and freeze them for this winter. Next, I'm gonna chop the recipe calls for 2 large carrots. I've washed this, and I'm just gonna slice these really thin. These are not the largest carrots I've ever saw. In fact, I had to buy these, and they're not actually good. I may add one more just to have some more carrots in here. All I'm doing is slicing these. Not paper thin, because you want a little bite. So now it calls for 2 ribs of celery. Got these prepared. I'm just gonna slice these real small. So what I'm doing now is 1 tablespoon of butter. Now I'm ready to put these in. The butter has melted, and I'm just gonna slide all these vegetables that we just sliced in a saucepan. So I can do it without spilling it. You wanna cook this probably 4 to 5 minutes until the onions are soft. Stirring as you go where that butter won't burn. Just toss it around, saute it. It already smells so good. So 3 or 4 minutes. Just keep stirring it where you won't burn that butter. You don't want that butter moving around all over the vegetables. It won't take long. You can tell when your onions are translucent. Here's 2 cups. You can take that fat off the top if you want to. Here's the other 2 cups. We're just gonna stir that around, and we're gonna let this cook for about 10 minutes. While it's coming up to a simmer after I added the cold broth, I'm gonna add 1 bay leaf. See if I can get a whole one out here. And just drop it down in there. And then I am going to add, I love this stuff. I'm gonna add this Better Than Bullion. And to start with, I'm just gonna add about half of a teaspoon. You can add poultry seasoning if you'd like. You can add a little sage. It's just according to what you like. So the next thing I've done is I've got a saucepan. I've got my soup going here with carrots, celery, onions, broth, bay leaf, and the Better Than Bullion. I put a little sage in it too sometimes. I've got water in this saucepan. I'm gonna add some noodles. It doesn't matter if it's spaghetti or what. I think I've got both. I think you call it linguine. I think I've got it in here too. It doesn't matter which one. I'm gonna get them like almost done. So while my noodles are boiling in a separate pan, I have some leftover chicken from a rotisserie chicken. I've pulled it off the bone earlier, had it ready to make tacos or something. I was gonna make tacos, but I haven't made those. So I'm gonna use this pulled off chicken to put in my chicken creamy chicken noodle soup. So I'm using spaghetti noodles. You can use any noodles you want, any pasta, elbow macaroni, anything. It says about 4 ounces. I'm just doing about this much. My creamy chicken noodle soup is cooking. I put the chicken in with the vegetables. Just letting it simmer on the stove. I put my spaghetti noodles in. They're fixing to come to a boil, back to a boil. I'm gonna add 1 cup of heavy cream to 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch in a separate bowl, and just set that aside. Another thing I wanted to tell you, if you don't have like a rotisserie chicken like I did, the meat off of it where you can just pull it off, you can just cook a chicken, bake it in your oven, or you can cook it raw with your soup, and you would put it in the broth raw, and you would add 2 extra cups of broth to account for that. So, or water, because you're going to be making broth. Just to make your stock. So if you're using raw chicken, you'll need to add more liquid. If you're using rotisserie chicken like I did, or a chicken you have pulled off the bone that's already cooked, then you use the 4 cups or whatever, you know, adjust it how you like it. Another little tip, if the cornstarch and the heavy cream doesn't make it thick enough for you, you can also use some instant potato flakes, add it to your to some water, and add it to your soup. That's another way to do it. Oops, let's don't forget to take the bay leaf out. We need to do that. We're going to take it out. Just throw it away. And we're just going to slowly stir this cream mixture into our soup. Yum. Y'all should smell it. It smells so good. Now you may have noticed that I have not added salt or pepper, and I won't add any salt to this, mainly because of the broth. When the chicken was baked, it was baked with seasonings, and I added the chicken bouillon. Y'all, does that not look heavenly? I did add a little more broth to that. Oh my goodness, seriously. See if I can get it. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Goodness gracious, that's good. The next thing I'm gonna do is add the pasta, and this is hot pasta, and I wanna add it a little at a time because I don't know what 4 ounces is. So I'm just gonna add it a little bit at a time and stir it, and that is hot. Whew. Very hot. Again, you can use any pasta you want. Just want to see what this looks like. I think I'm going to use it all. Now I'm going to let this simmer maybe another 10 minutes. This is basically a 30-minute soup. You can do this in 30 minutes with a rotisserie chicken. I think it's just wonderful. It looks so good, and my goodness. I am going to add some pepper to it. Let me just do that right now. And if you don't want your pepper showing, use white pepper. Okay, y'all, I have turned the eye off. Seriously, just look at this. Oh my goodness. Does that not look delicious? I'm gonna serve with this with the rolls I made yesterday, and I've got a video on that. Just look up 30-minute rolls. Our Forever Farm. And I will put the link in the description box. I'm gonna dish this up in a bowl. This looks so good. I'm going to add some fresh parsley to this, and I am going to add Sweet Hunter 2 rolls on here that he can eat with this, if it'll stay up there. Get him and somebody's at the door. And I answered the door, I got it, but doesn't that look good, y'all? It looks so good. I don't know if I said it in between somebody coming to the door, but I'm gonna add some fresh parsley on top of this. For Sweet Hunter, I gotta go out and pick it out of my little herb garden. But I think it's beautiful. I just think it's beautiful, and it's so good. I just tasted of it, it's delicious. Y'all go cook something.